Welcome to tonight's meeting, and thank you for coming. My name is Iva Walton. I'm the chair for the Sacramento Local Agency Formation Commission, also known as LAFCo, though soon to be replaced. The commissioners are locally elected officials who were designated by their respective home agencies to serve on LAFCo. Our role is to oversee boundary changes of cities and special districts, the formation of new agencies, including the incorporation of new cities and districts, and the consolidation or reorganization of special districts and/or cities. The broad goals of the Commission's directive are to ensure the orderly formation of our local governmental agencies, to preserve agricultural and open space lands, and to discourage urban sprawl. Commissions must, by law, create municipal service reviews and update spheres of influence for each independent local governmental jurisdiction within their county-wide jurisdiction. Our meetings are always open to the public, and regularly scheduled meetings are shown live on Metro Cable Channel 14, webcast live on the Metro Cable TV website, and posted on the county's website. Comments are welcome. Please complete a speaker slip and return it to the county clerk. Time will be limited to 2 minutes per person to keep the meeting timely, and we ask that you address your comments or questions to the commission. Thank you. So I believe it's time for roll call. Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam Chair. Commissioner Desmond?
Here.
Commissioner Frost?
Here.
Commissioner Jones? Here. Commissioner Charlier Moore in place for Lindsay Carter?
Here.
Commissioner Little?
Here.
Commissioner Kaplan?
Here.
And Chair Walton.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. So at this time, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, are there any special announcements before we proceed? All right, thank you very much. So, Madam Clerk, if you'd like to read the first agenda item.
Please allow me to read the Metro statement and the announcement.
Very good.
This meeting of the Local Agency Formation Commission is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T UVerse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Sunday, March 10th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. The Sacramento Local Agency Formation Commission fosters public engagement during the meeting and encourages public participation, civility, and use of courteous language. The board does not condone the use of profanity, vulgar language, gestures, or other inappropriate behavior, including personal attacks or threats directed towards any meeting participant. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to make a public comment and are limited to making one comment per agenda or off-agenda item. Please be mindful of the public comment procedures to avoid being interrupted or disconnected while making your comment. To make a comment in person, please fill out a speaker request form and hand it to the clerk's staff. The chairperson will open public comments for each agenda or off-agenda item and direct the clerk to call the name of each speaker. When the clerk calls your name, please come to the podium and make your comment. If a speaker is unavailable to make a comment prior to the closing of public comments, the speaker waives their request to speak, and the clerk will file the speaker request form in the record. The clerk will manage the timer and allow each speaker 2 minutes to make a comment. You may send written comments by email to boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Your comments will be routed to the board and filed in the record. If you need an accommodation pursuant to the Americans with Disabilities Act or for medical or other reasons, please see clerk's staff for assistance or contact the clerk's office at 916-874-5451 or by email at boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Thank you in advance for your courtesy and understanding of the meeting procedures. This concludes your announcement.
Thank you. All right. I believe at this time we're going to swear people in, new officers. Is that correct?
Yes, item number 1 is administer oath of office.
All right. There we go, Lisa Kaplan. So I would like you to repeat after me. I,
Lisa Kaplan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies,
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will and faithfully discharge
that I will and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. All right, and now we will swear in Rich Desmond as the chair. All right, here we go.
Want to vote on that?
Congratulations. No, I say not. You're it. You're it.
Excuse me,
I did think we
Madam Chair, excuse me,
Pardon?
we don't have to swear him in, you can just make a motion.
Okay, so we just make a motion, so no swearing
I'll move.
allowed.
I'll make a motion, Rich Desmond for chair.
I'll second that.
All right, very good. This will be, no.
You may vote.
You need an appointment for nomination for vice chair.
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Oh, excuse me.
I had the impression from the materials that it would need to be someone from the city of Sacramento this year, or did I misunderstand it?
Well, since I am late to my first meeting, it would be appropriate to volunteer me to the vice chair position.
Commissioner Frost, yeah, the LAFCo, Sacramento LAFCO has a rotational schedule in terms of who gets to be chair and vice chair. The incoming, basically the incoming chair was the vice chair from the previous year. So you are correct that the vice chair would be somebody from the city of Sacramento that's coming in.
And I believe Director Kaplan is the only director from Sacramento, is that correct?
That is correct.
So I nominate Director Kaplan for vice chair.
All right.
That's really good.
I like it.
Okay.
So we have, on the first motion, we have a unanimous vote for Supervisor Desmond to become the new chair, and we have a unanimous vote for Commissioner Kaplan to be vice chair this year. And it passes unanimously.
We didn't vote yet. We didn't see
Oh,
the,
sorry, let's vote on Commissioner Kaplan. You may vote.
Yes.
Yes,
all right.
Now.
right.
Congratulations.
Okay, it's unanimous. You are our new vice chair.
All right, and we're going to take a short break and change seats and all that. So we're taking a little pause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
log out.
Chair Walton needs to log out. Mr. Chair, we're back on the agenda.
Well, in that case, I'll call this meeting back to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll to establish quorum again.
Commissioner Frost?
Here.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Carter? I'm sorry, Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Little? Here. Commissioner Kaplan?
Here.
Commissioner Walton?
Here.
And Chair Desmond.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, well, thank you. First, let me start by thanking my fellow commissioners for placing your trust in me on this rotational chair position to serve, and it is really an honor. And I want to thank Commissioner Walton, our chair emeritus, for your service last year as the LAFCo chair. This is a fun, and because it's a late meeting body, kind of a punchy group at times, and it's a lot of fun. And I also want to welcome Vice Chair Kaplan, and hopefully we can get her a permanent placard soon, but as she joins the club. So welcome. Awesome. It's fun to have you here. And of course, if you have any questions, the dean of this body is of course Commissioner Jones, who has been serving on it for an awful long time.
McGee and Molly, there you go.
So thank you very much. So that will take us to, Commissioner Moore. Are you queued up to speak?
I am. Oh, no, I'm not queued
Oh,
up to
okay,
speak.
I'll take
Am I?
that off.
No, not intending
You were.
to.
I'll
Did
just
I
take
punch the
that
wrong
off.
button?
No, it's okay. We can take it in stride. So then we'll move on to our next item, item 4, and that is off-agenda public comment. It's a chance for the public to talk about any item that's not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any off-agenda public comment?
That's item 3. We do not have any public comment in the audience, nor do we online.
Okay. Then we'll move on to our consent items.
Consent items are items 4 through 8 for your approval.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Frost. Any comments from commissioners on the consent calendar? We have a first and a second. Is there any public comment on the consent calendar, Madam Clerk?
No, there is no public comment.
Okay. Then we have a first and a second. Please vote.
Okay, you may vote. The vote is unanimous.
Okay, thank you. So next we'll move on to item 9.
Item 9 is to open the public comment period on the draft municipal service review and sphere of influence study for Carmichael Water District, LAFCo Project 2023-07.
Okay,
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I'll do the staff report for this item, very, very brief, which is you're just opening the public comment period for this document to be available for folks to comment, to review and comment. It'll be available on the website under this agenda. And the report was prepared by Crystal Heaney from Plan West Partners. So many thanks to her for the hard work that she put into it. In addition, I wanted to thank the directors and staff from Carmichael Water District as well. They were very cooperative with this report, and they had an opportunity to review it. And the report that's out there right now is basically their input has been incorporated as necessary. So with that, just open the public comment period, and this item will be returned back at the next meeting for adoption.
Okay, thank you. Open the public comment period. Do we have any public comment?
We do not have any public comment.
Okay, I'll close the public comment period. Any questions or comments from commission members? Okay, we have that'll be a first.
The first?
Like you said, I'll make a motion.
Oh, did I say that?
You did.
Oh, okay.
So do we have a
I was
motion?
opening.
Do you have a motion?
Do we need a motion on this, or is it just sending it out for public? How is this set up? Sorry.
It asks for a motion.
Open the public. It's
Yeah, I
at
think it's
your
the public comment.
discretion, whatever you would like to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a point of order, it's a continuous open comment period until our next meeting here.
Okay.
That is
So-
correct.
It does ask for a motion in a second, yeah.
Mr. Chair.
I'm
so
just
moved.
reading. I'm just reading the notes here. So, what is the motion accomplishing?
I don't know.
Opening
If
the
you,
Okay.
if you
public
want
comment period.
to open public comment.
We're
Okay.
opening it, and then it will stay
Okay.
open.
We have a
Correct.
motion and a second to open the public comment period. Any comments? None? Please vote.
The motion passes, and their vote is unanimous.
Okay, that'll take us to item 10.
Mr. Chair, the item 10 is public hearing to consider and adopt CEQA statutory exemption 15061B3 and the Municipal Service Review and Sphere of Influence Study for Sacramento Suburban Water District LAFCo Project 2023-02.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I'm going to turn this over to Crystal Heaney, who is the consultant from Plan West Partners who prepared the report, and she will provide a summary of it.
Crystal, are you on?
Yes, hello. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Let's see. My Zoom's doing some funny things. Okay, I do have a presentation that I can share with you, hopefully. I actually don't see the share function on my Zoom screen.
You just passed it.
Let's coach.
There it is.
Well, that's, so in the bottom?
The bottom, middle is,
Bottom middle of your screen, do you see that? Do you have access to that?
do you have access to the arrow going up that shares share screen? It may be highlighted green.
Don't, unfortunately. I think I might need to be promoted to a panelist if that's possible.
Let's see.
Ah, there we go. Join.
Amber's.
Okay, now I think we might be in business. I might be able to turn. Here we are.
There we go.
Okay, we are going to share presentation. Okay, looks like we're up and running. So hello, everybody. Hello, commissioners, staff, members of the public. My name is Crystal Heaney. I'm a senior planner with Plan West Partners. Our main office is based in Arcata, California, up in Humboldt County, but I am more local. I'm in South Lake Tahoe. I do appreciate you letting me join via Zoom. That saves me a drive over the pass, which these past few days has been a little sketchy. So today we will be talking about the Sacramento Suburban Water District MSR SOI update. Just to give you a brief overview of what we'll be discussing, we have the purpose of this report, our process for developing it, some background information on the district, including its formation, current boundary, general land uses in the area, and some demographics. Then we'll jump into their services, which is water service, their financial standing, and end with the set of determinations. So this slide has way too many words on it, and I don't expect you to read everything right now. This is more for the handouts. Basically, what it boils down to is that an MSR is done to help inform boundary decisions, and the sphere of influence is the logical plan for where an agency intends to provide services. But this is the code sections if you're interested in diving more into that. So our process for developing this report, we start with data collection. We go through and mine the internet and agency websites as much as we can. Then we will have stakeholders discussions with interested parties. And most importantly, we talk with the agency itself. So we'll talk with a district manager, other staff, and get the nitty-gritty details. In this case, be about water demand, their type of wells, any concerns popping up with delivery of services, things like that. Once we have all this information collected, we prepare the administrative draft. This gets reviewed internally by our company. It also gets reviewed by LAFCo staff and agency staff. We find it's very important that they do a review before it goes public so they can ensure accuracy of the data that is provided in the report. Then the document is released for public review. This particular MSR was actually released back in October of last year, but there was some delay in getting it adopted due to, I think there was a meeting cancellation and then a winter recess. But here we are, ready to take a final look at it. So the final report incorporates any comments that were received, which we didn't receive any, but we did find some updates that needed a few little changes. And then we're presenting it to you tonight for discussion, comment, and potential adoption. So focusing on the district itself, this is a relatively new district in the grand scheme of things. It was formed in 2002 from the reorganization of the Arcade Water District and the Northridge Water District, or Arcade 54 and 56. It encompasses about 30 square miles, both north and south of 80. And then it's divided by Highway 80 into the north and south service areas. And one of the service areas receives fluoride treatment in their water, which is why they're kept separate. Predominant land use is low density residential. Other land uses that can be seen frequently are retail, office space, and also transit-oriented development along some of the major roadways. There's a current population of just under 200,000. This is based on census data and data from the district itself. In taking a look at the population, there are several areas that can be considered disadvantaged unincorporated communities. So these are inhabited areas that fall below 80% of the California statewide median household income. So that includes the Arden Arcade area, Foothill Farms, McClellan Park, which is mostly industrial and the airport use. So that's contributing to that. And then North Highlands. The boundary for the district is shown here on this map. It's the blue outline. There are some islands and areas that are substantially surrounded by the district, but this is largely just due to the existence of other water agencies, including Del Paso Manor Water District. We have, I think, Golden State Water is in there, and also the Sacramento County Water Agency. So that's where you get some of those islands showing up. Here we have the land use map for the district. There are some areas that are not shown because these areas are included in cities. So this is just the county general land use. You can see the light yellow color is the low density residential. So these are going to be predominantly single family homes. And then the darker purple and the lighter purple, that's going to be your commercial and your transit-oriented development. And then the large orange spot there is the airport. So digging into the district's water services, they primarily use groundwater. They have 71 operational wells and another 52 that are inactive, destroyed, or in the process of being destroyed. They're working on 6 new wells, and their overall capacity is 154 million gallons per day. Now that's if the wells were running 24 hours a day, full speed. That's typically not how the groundwater wells are run. They're run more on demand, limited hours for the day, so the actual production of water is less. They do utilize surface water when possible as part of a conjunctive use program. And this program allows the district to recharge groundwater almost, or allow it to not be used quite as much. So in wet years, when there's plenty of surface water, they can rely on that. And then in drier years, they can rely on the groundwater. And what this has done over the years is actually stabilize the overpumping of the groundwater basin. So that graph of where the water is at in the ground has leveled out. It's no longer dropping substantially. So it's a good program and it's working. Their surface water comes from various different resources. So they have the Placer County Water Agency. They have Bureau of Reclamation temporary water. So this is water that is dependent on environmental flows. So if there's enough water going over spillways and running through the rivers to meet these environmental standards, they're called HODGE restrictions, then the district can access some of that water. They also have a contract with the city of Sacramento and the San Juan Water District. The San Juan Water District, that is an annual contract that they negotiate every year and is subject to change in, at times may not actually be used. So the total demand for the district in 2020 was just about 40,000 acre feet. And single-family residential accounted for almost half of that. So overall, they're doing good. They have a lot of water to provide for, at least on paper, they have a lot of water to provide service to the area. There are contamination issues in the groundwater. And this is for the region as a whole. It's not just affecting Sac Suburban Water District. There are plumes at the McClellan Airport, Aerojet from underground storage tanks that are aging and leaking, and then also the Roseville Railroad Yard. There's a new contamination concern that is being studied, and this is PFAS. It's used in a lot of different things, including firefighting foams and nonstick cookware. And they're still in the early stages of studies, but it's turning out to not be so great and can accumulate in the environment. Our typical treatment systems for water don't remove it, but there are like carbon systems and membrane systems that have shown some success in removing this from water. So the financial standing of the district, they are doing well. They have been able to increase their overall net position from the calendar year 2018 to 2022. They do their finances on the calendar year as opposed to the financial year. They do adopt an annual budget. They're primarily funded by fees for services, including their consumption sales and other water service charges. They do have long-term debt in the form of 3 revenue bonds, certificates of participation, and then general revenue bonds there. So this shows the net position of the district for the years that we assessed in the report. Their assets have been increasing, their liabilities have been going down, and this is resulting in an increase in their overall net position. So in the determinations, these were based on the requirements of the CKH Act. There are a lot to go through, so I didn't want to put them all on slides. They're available in the report for you to review. Generally, we found that the district is in good standing and able to provide good service to their customers in the area in general. They are in discussions with Carmichael Water District regarding potential reorganization. I was going to get an update on that, but unfortunately I haven't heard back from the district managers. So Jose might have some more insight as to where they're at with that process, but they were working towards an application that they could submit sometime this year. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you for having me here tonight, and I am available for questions if you have any.
Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate the presentation. Sac Suburban Water District is almost entirely within my supervisory district, as it happens, and the president of the board, Jay Boatwright, is here. I'll ask you in a moment if you want to say a few words, but before that, I'll go to Commissioner Frost.
I'm just curious if you can share a little bit more about the PFAS and the location of the contamination and the extent. And what I mean by extent, is that something that goes down into the aquifer, or is it, how does I imagine something like that would be everywhere, not just in Sac Suburban. So do you know any more about it? I've never heard of that.
It's fairly new, the research that is coming out. What is being discovered is that it is pretty much everywhere, even in our own bodies. We have just accumulated this chemical over the years from even clothes, like water-resistant clothes have PFAS on it. I think the statistic was like over 90% of the population has some amount of PFAS in their system. So it is quite extensive, and they are still studying the effects or potential effects on humans. So unfortunately, there's not much more information than that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Frost. I don't see any other comments from commissioners, so I'll go to the Madam Clerk. Do we have any public comment on this item?
We do not have any public comment.
Okay, I see Mr. Boatwright shaking his head. Thank you for being here. So we have a staff recommendation on this item, and I'll look for a motion. Chair will move the staff recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
The motion passes with a unanimous vote.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I wanted to thank Crystal for the preparation of this report, as well as Dan York, the general manager for Sacramento Suburban, as well as President Boatwright and his board. They've been very cooperative. The district has a phenomenal amount of information out on the website, which meant that we didn't have to bug them too much. But when we did, they were very open. They were very responsive to the questions that we posed. I also want to congratulate Crystal. She is the new executive officer for Shasta LAFCo. So thank you, and congratulations, Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you, Jose.
So much. I appreciate that.
And thank you, Crystal. Okay, so that will bring us to item 11.
Item 11 is public hearing to consider and approve the proposed budget for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, the budget before you is crafted to meet the needs of LAFCo for the fiscal years 24-25. Just by way of background, LAFCo approves its budget on a two-phased approach. You're considering a draft budget. Should you approve it, it becomes a proposed budget, and then it comes back for adoption from proposed to final. And we're continuing the very conservative approach in terms of what our expenses are. We're trying to clamp them down even more. You're also funding 3 full-time staff members. Again, welcome our policy analyst, Christy Graybo, who started back in October. In order to make sure that we still came up from a balance standpoint, we reduced some operating costs because obviously the employee costs go up as well. In addition, the impact to the funding agencies is going to be a 5%, which I know that all of them are entering into a very difficult budgetary period, but the 5% is pretty modest. Should you decide to reduce it, we could tap into some of our reserves to kind of offset the cost. But I don't believe that the impact is going to be significant on any of the issues, on any of the agencies, given how many there are, and basically you spread the cost around a larger base. So the impact to any one district is pretty minimal. Some of the things that we wanted to make sure that we had an adequate coverage is on legal services. We're entering a very contentious standpoint. We want to make sure that our counsel is is well funded. But in addition, we also are entering into some A87 costs that were not anticipated. And those are costs that are passed through from the county onto LAFCo. And so we're absorbing those as well. So that kind of accounted for some of the increases that you see. But for the most part, we're towing the line, and we should still have enough funding as well for outsourcing MSRs, which I will say that there's some funding for this year's budgets in the, on the MSRs that I have not spent yet. So that should be able to give us a little bit more flexibility as well. So with that, be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Jose. Commissioner Kaplan.
Thank you. Thank you for this. Quick question. So 5% increase, if I just looked kind of like at your expenditures, are you saying that there's going to be in total, it's really like a $50,000 increase?
Yeah, I can't really comment on each individual impact, but basically whatever was the
difference
back of the envelope, the city of Sacramento pays about 1/6 of the budget. So that would be the impact to the city.
So like $9,000.
Correct.
As we're facing a $66 million budget deficit, I'm sure we can find the $9,000. But I wanted to make sure, because it's one thing when it's $9,000, another thing if it was equaling $1 million. So
No.
I'm very appreciative of that, breaking it down, so understanding that it really isn't that significant.
Thank you, Commissioner Kaplan. Any other comments from commissioners, comments or questions? Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment on this item?
Mr. Chair, we do not have any public comment.
Okay, then I will bring it back to the board, entertain a motion to adopt the proposed budget.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Frost, a second by Commissioner Little. Please vote.
Your motion passes and the vote is unanimous.
Okay, thank you, Jose. And we'll go to item 12.
Item 12, presentation from the MSR Ad Hoc Committee of an MSR project plan.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I'm going to turn over to your policy analysts who will be presenting this item.
That's good. I'm glad you're mixing it up a little bit.
Good evening, Chairperson Desmond and Commissioners. It's my honor to present the result of the Municipal Service Review Ad Hoc Committee. I'll be presenting this along with my fellow policy analyst, Christy Grabo. How great. Okay, so we're going to start off with some background on our beautiful committee. So on April 5th of 2023, our commission established an ad hoc committee to develop a regional policy, and that was intended to better facilitate the municipal service reviews for the LAFCo office. That committee consisted of myself as staff at the time, and then Commissioners Iva Walton, Chris Little, and Gay Jones. And we determined that we wanted to make sure that we were maximizing the MSR process, and that the commission, you all had established that it was a priority for us to determine how we can bring more MSRs to our office, how we can showcase what's going on in our special districts and in our cities. And the big thing was that we found that within the municipal service review determinations, there was an allowance and a provision for us to develop our own policy that was specific to Sacramento County. Specifically, Determination number 7 says that we can consider existing circumstances that will improve the efficient delivery of municipal services as it pertains to a local policy. So our committee, we began small. We started talking about what MSRs are. Jose really helped us walk through how MSRs can actually effectively be processed. So that way we had a realistic approach about how we can make sure that we were developing a plan that made sense and not something that was just not going to actually be able to be worked. So we started off by approving a methodology. How will we determine that the policies made sense, that it actually reflected the intent of the LAFCo office, the intent of CKH, something that makes sense for Sacramento. And then we started brainstorming different policies after having a really robust discussion about what are MSRs, why haven't we been producing a lot in the past, what do we want to see, and what's realistic. And then we kind of we voted, we developed some language, and we built in a feedback period. So once we determined what we felt was the result of our meetings. We sent out feedback or a request for feedback from the special districts. We didn't get any responses, but we did talk about it briefly at the last special district advisory committee, and people are pretty enthused to see what we're going to come up with and how our office is going to address MSRs. So the first part of the process is that we talked about that there was a huge need for more additional education and outreach. So Christy Grable is going to go over the education and outreach plan that resulted from our brainstorming.
Great, thank you. So with the ad hoc committee, as you mentioned, we did create an outreach, an education plan on how we can empower districts and agencies to encourage initiation of updating their MSRs to showcase their state of their district and agency. With that, just a quick plan overview. There are 3 types of outreach efforts that LAFCo staff will produce to cater to the different audiences that LAFCo reaches. And the first of that would be the LAFCo 101, which is just the general overview of what LAFCo does, and that would be done at an annual basis and held here during these commission meetings. The target audience would be looking at the commission members, you all, as well as city council members, special district general managers, board of directors, and elected officials. LAFCo would reach out via email by inviting other people, other special districts to come and join and kind of get an overview of what LAFCo does as a reminder. And then the other type of outreach effort would be an MSR overview. And this would be just a specific overview of what an MSR process is and the kind of procedures of how it is produced. That would be done at a 4 times a year effort, and the audience would be special district board of directors, and that would be added to the agenda of the SDAC meetings that are held at a quarterly basis, and kind of a plug that we would do when we go to those meetings. And last would be the civic engagement for the general public, and that would be ongoing. Our target audience there would be general public, landowners, and registered voters, so everybody else we haven't reached. And how we would notice any efforts on that would be our LAFCo website updates, and then coordination with districts in order to bring more people on board to help them understand our process with that. This is consistent. This plan is consistent with the government code, and it's justifying the intent of CKH to provide efficient government services by utilizing the MSR as a way to snapshot community services and controls. So that's kind of justifying why we did what we do. Go ahead and go with that.
Okay, so I'm so loud. The intent of the education and outreach plan is to let people know what we have going on, bring them into the LAFCo office so they can self-initiate municipal service reviews. That would help us from a budget standpoint, but most importantly, it empowers the special districts and the cities to know that this is a tool for them. It helps us, obviously, because that's a part of what we're intending to do. That's what we contribute to the space. But also, yeah, we want people to know, like, we're here, you know, that Sac Suburban Water District Municipal Service Review, I got a lot of great information from it. So we want to emphasize that it's a tool to be used for the special districts. And once we get all those special districts coming in with their MSRs, we wanted to make sure we had a plan for how we were going to actually get the MSRs accomplished, so that way we were not being too idealistic. And we developed a 10-year project plan, which I know might sound like a lot, but we determined that looking back at the history of how MSRs are being produced, there would be a lot going on at one time, then there would be huge periods where they weren't being done or they were not being updated. So we wanted to be realistic and know that staff time, usually a municipal service review that's just a study and is not attached to a sphere of influence amendment, might not always be the top of priority for staff. We might have other projects that might, and the MSR might be tabled. So we wanted to make sure that the plan ensured that we were always looking at different special districts and wanted to make sure that we were getting a different combination of those districts in for review. So we broke it out into 2 cycles with 2 different report back periods. Cycle 1, which would be initiated in 2025, staff would prioritize doing municipal service reviews for the ones that you see within that column. And that's our water districts, our fire districts, 1/2 set of our park and rec districts, cemetery districts, and all of our dependent districts. Our goal would be to complete all MSRs within that 5 years for those districts listed, but in the event we cannot, we would give you guys a report back on what we were able to accomplish, some data on how it impacted us from a budget standpoint, staff's time standpoint, and then we would also include just kind of like a snapshot of what's going on in the cities. If you notice, we did not include in our cycles a plan for the cities, and that's because normally the cities might come with a bigger project. So we wanted to be realistic about that. But in our report back, we would kind of give a snapshot and say, hey, we assume that City of Rancho Cordova might come in for an MSR based off of these discussions, X, Y, Z. Cycle 2 would review the next set of special districts, and at the end of that cycle, we would provide the 10-year report back saying, this is what we were able to accomplish, this is what worked, what did not work, and then we would either revise our plan, kick it all over again, or we would just, start from scratch and make sure that we can do something that made a little bit more sense. The goal is to get MSRs accomplished for all of these different districts, but in the event we cannot, we would at least have a variety of different type of districts that were able to get municipal service reviews completed. Okay. And so the last part of our process, we started off with saying, how can we get more special districts aware of what we're doing? That was the education and outreach plan. How can we manage staff's time? That was a project plan. The last component of the MSR ad hoc committee was to establish a additional determination, which was allowed for in CKH, which is determination number 7, which is like whatever a local policy could adopt. And we determined that our LAFCo wanted to evaluate how special districts maintain communication, in addition to the other 6 things that we evaluate when doing an MSR. Is this me or you? That's okay. So, and I think this is a really cool determination because it started off with Commissioner Jones was telling us about during the last winter storm, there was some conflict between the Office of Emergency Services. They didn't have up-to-date contact information for special districts, and a lot of people either almost lost out or did lose out on opportunities to get funding to help their district back up and running. And because we didn't want to cross lines, we wanted to stay in the LAFCo lane, we really wanted to say, well, is there a way that these special districts know in the state of emergencies how to communicate with their customers? But then we took it bigger and said, even if it's not an emergency, in general, if there's something going on at the park, fire district, or whatever, do these districts have a very effective way of communicating with their customers? So that would be an additional level of analysis staff would begin participating in when doing our municipal service reviews. And that can go from, do they have different language things available on their website based off of their demographics? It could be, do they do text message alerts? Do they use technology? Do they have videos and other creative ways on their website to keep customers informed of what they have going on? All sorts of great things. So if you all were to adopt this determination number 7, it would be housed in our Sacramento local policy standards and procedures document. That way it's not something that any new staff might look over. It'd be something that's very accessible, something that makes sense, and something that is an effective tool.
Okay, you already kind of hit on this already, but that's totally fine. And this is how we can implement item 7, which was, again, as mentioned by Desiree, was being a resource for other agencies and districts, and keeping that in tune with that, I guess you could say, is maintaining a contact list for all county agencies and districts and making sure that it's up to date and available for anybody on request. And for example, using OES to use us as a contact of getting a hold of anybody else if they're not able to do that. I'd have to say in my 5 months of being with LAFCo, I know we've got a handful of phone calls of people saying, I can't get a hold of this district, so maybe you might have contact there. So that's definitely a great idea to use that. This list will also be available by request from anybody. So that was just implementing item 7 of what that would look like.
And in addition to that helping implement item 7, it would be, this was once again a strong suggestion of Commissioner Jones, and we still don't really know what that maintaining of that directory would look like, but it would be physical. We would try to have something, our beautiful executive officer just updated like all the contact information for the special districts, but Commissioner Jones wanted us to go bigger. So, so we're still, we would try to kind of like tease out what that directory would look like so we can kind of be like a grounding space for people who have those general questions. And knowing that we may not be able to catch everything, it just, based off of the committee's discussion, it felt like it was something that was needed. So I don't know if you all would need to vote on this, but our recommendation is broken out into 3 pieces, which is adopt the local policy for Sacramento County's LAFCo as afforded by 56430A7, and that would be to include that additional policy to evaluate maintenance and communication, require the commission to make an MSR determination, evaluate how, oh, I already said that, sorry. And then also allow for us to adopt our education and outreach plan and our project plan so that we can really make sure we're operating at our highest potential and we're being structured and we're meeting the intent of what the ad hoc committee developed would be our priorities. And that concludes our presentation.
Okay, well, thank you, Desiree and Christy, and appreciate your work on this, and definitely appreciate the work of Commissioners Jones, Walton, and Little in this effort as well. With that, I'll go to Commissioner Frost.
Desiree and Christy, I remember in the past, MSRs are expensive and time staking. And so I'm curious, in your meetings with the commission, did you have that conversation? You mentioned it. How's it going to impact our budget? But does this policy that you're recommending, while requiring this, it seems like aggressive, given that in the past we've gone long periods without any MSRs. I'm assuming there are times when big projects come up and everyone's focused on those big projects. So is this like a best efforts? Is it a best efforts policy? Or I'm just curious because it seems very ambitious compared to what we've done in the past. I'm just over the years, just saying.
Well, I can only answer to, because, I've only been here for what, like a year and some change. So we do want to start the project plan in 2025 to give us some time to get trained. And the goal is, that's why we kind of created that 5-year plan to say, do as many of these different type of special districts within that 5-year. And our priorities obviously would be set by our executive officer. We accomplish what we cannot, what we can accomplish, and what we can't. And the staff report would just tell you this is how we were able to approach the MSR, put our best foot forward. In regards to the education and outreach plan, I think that's the fun and creative side of what came from this discussion. We already attend SDACs, their quarterly meetings, so we just said, how can we utilize that meeting to kind of make sure that we're reminding special districts about the MSR. The LAFCo 101, I believe we would use a commission meeting date that wouldn't have a lot on the agenda, so that would be provided or conducted by either the executive officer, and once we get smart enough, we could also help out with that. But utilize this space to kind of just go through what is a LAFCo, what do we provide, and then always making sure we're educating about what we do and how we do it. And the project plan, I think there's a lot of room for growth. We wanted to make sure as a committee that we weren't being unrealistic and that we just built in space for us to try our hardest and see what works and to change as we needed it to change.
And does it also allow for those situations that pop up where we need an MSR because there's a struggling district or something like that? You can, like there were some that you left to 2030 that might pop up sooner. Yeah, so there's flexibility in it is what.
That is correct, Commissioner Frost. If she's using, I've only been here 5 months, and she's only been here a year. Can I use, I've only been here 3 years?
And you're all extraordinary, by the way.
But to your question is absolutely right. What is the budgetary impact of having such an aggressive work plan? The reality is that this is something that we've discussed internally, and this is, even though it's aggressive, I think it's realistic for 2 reasons. Number one, I've been making sure that we budget a little bit every year for MSRs to outsource to a consultant. So that's an additional help. It doesn't necessarily help with my workload because I still have to oversee a consultant, but at least it's more additional help. And in addition, as we talk to cities and special districts and the benefits of the MSR and having that done, they may initiate it. And if they initiate it, then per your fee schedule, they would be responsible for those costs as opposed to coming out of LAFCo. So we're hoping that it eventually becomes a partnership where some are initiated by the district as needed and others are initiated by LAFCo per the work plan, with the flexibility that obviously we need to accommodate the cities because they're not part of the project plan. And in addition, we accommodate those scenarios where you have a failing district or the grand jury's asking us to look into something, and we can just incorporate it into that work plan. So it's aggressive, but I think it's pretty well grounded.
My last question is, why does it have to be a policy? Why can't it just be a goal? I mean, part of our protocol or a goal?
Well, there's the recommendation. There's multiple components here. The first one is that the Cartesian-Churchburg LAFCo law allows for the commission to adopt a local determination that's applicable here for this county. And so right now it's blank. The commission doesn't have a policy. So for example, in El Dorado County, the policy that was adopted up there was the impact of an agency onto agricultural resources. So that got studied on every MSR for every agency. Right now, we don't have a local policy, and so the discussion really came down to communication. How well are we communicating? We as a LAFCO, all the local governments here in Sacramento County are communicating with their constituents. And so then that policy is to study that piece on an MSR. The work plan, the communication plan, those are goals. And it's basically, it's getting your blessing to go forward and implement this. And as Ms. Fox pointed out, there's an opportunity for the commission to review it, at every 5-year increment to determine whether or not this is working or whether we need to re-engineer something. We might find out that it's too costly. Then in that case, maybe we need to go back and re-engineer it in such a way that makes more sense. But the only policy that you are adopting is just that communication piece for how agencies are communicating with their constituents.
Oh, okay. And did you do any projections on cost, budget impact?
That I have not done, no.
Oh, I was just curious. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Frost. Commissioner Kaplan.
Thank you, Commissioner Frost. Filled in some of the gaps of the questions that I was asking. So on municipal services agreements or reviews, what is the standard? Like review every year, every 5 years, every 20 years? What is a general standard?
The government code says that you'll be reviewing a sphere of influence every 5 years or as necessary. And then the government code also says before you update a sphere of influence, you need to do a municipal service review. So by the transitive properties A equals B and B equals C, then it would be the MSRs should also be updated every 5 years or as necessary. This commission, this LAFCo, has leaned into the as necessary piece, but there is a public value to having updated MSRs on a fairly frequent basis, because it informs the public about the agency that's providing service to them. And this LAFCo in the last 3 years has tried to provide as much information to the citizens and residents of Sacramento County as much as possible. So that's why we have the GIS portal on our website now, where people can look up to see who's providing what service to them by what agency. And this would be an additional tool. The MSRs that we have right now, the majority of them were done 10 plus years ago. And at that point, the value of that MSR is gone for anything. So it makes more sense that while we do things as necessary and we're compliant with the law, there's also an additional public benefit that's out there that we can strive for.
Which is great, because so if I understand it, you're kind of looking at this as a rolling thing every 10 years, basically. When you start and get through everything, you'll start again and just update it. But the heavy lift generally will come as you start, but then as you roll, it'll be easier. So one of the things I think that would be good that goes off of what Commissioner Frost asked is put a little tag in it to maybe come back to us like the end of 2025, your first year of implementing this, to just, is it working, is it not working, thought process, do we need to look at anything differently, and then what does it look like with staff impact, budget, because it's an ever-evolving process. But I know the first year you do something, it's you always get the most aha and feedback, and that'll help us. One of the so that's my suggestion. And then also, what is it, because agencies do really good reports, but what is the accountability and the follow-up? If we find things and we make suggestions, how are we further working with our partner agencies to get them to maybe do things differently where we find there's a communication gap? How do we, instead of just saying you need to do this, how do we come back and say that it's a living document that we implement versus just gathering dust on the shelf?
That's a very good question. Obviously, the first tool at the Commission's disposal is the ability to approve a boundary change. So you could have an agency that wants to have a certain boundary change, but they're deficient. I'm not going to say negligent. They're deficient on some key aspects. You can say, we're not going to approve your boundary until you do this. So that's your first and foremost tool. The other one, it kind of just becomes kind of public pressure, because the reality is that these documents go live. They're available on the website, and we will continuously direct the public to these reports as they become more updated. And in that case, then it becomes the constituents themselves kind of prompt the agency. So those are the two primary tools. We don't have police enforcement. There's no such thing as LAFCo police, So we can enforce it in that aspect, but there are other things that this commission can do.
So once the report is finished and published, there is a dedicated spot that will be easily accessible on the website.
There already is. When you go to the LAFCo homepage, on the left-hand side, there's a menu. One of it is municipal service reviews. Okay. And those will take you to a portal where you can click on whatever MSR you want to take a look at. Eventually, what I want to do on GIS, because again, we already have that tool out there, is that when somebody looks up the boundaries of, or like the map of their local district, the MSR is right there as well. Okay. So that is a short to medium term goal for me, is that we tie those pieces together so that there's multiple points of entry for the public to be aware of these reports.
Is it also possible, just because transparency is somewhat, if this is adopted, also putting the plan on the website of this is our estimated draft timeline so that people know what's coming, and then it makes it easier for agencies to potentially start on their own because they know when their time is up and when it's coming?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Vice Chair Kaplan. Appreciate the comments, and as part of your outreach and education, they'll understand what our goals are as well. And I think this is certainly an important discussion to have, probably more so in LAFCo than a lot of others by virtue of how many special districts we have here. I mean, it is such a complex landscape, difficult to navigate for everybody, whether you're a developer or a resident or a business owner or whomever. So I appreciate the efforts. So, Commissioner Jones, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to acknowledge the work of my fellow commissioners, Walton and Little, on this, as well as Analyst Fox and Analyst Grabo, for being able to truly, in a very professional, high-level professional, to be able to take our interests, concerns, and thoughts and be able to focus it into the presentation that we had tonight. It was very, very good. And I have a couple examples of this idea of communication, how it evolved. I don't want to, that can be offline. Any commissioner would like to know, I'd be glad to chat with you about it. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Jones. Great. I think it's very important what you're pushing for that emergency communication and make sure it's very clear. So thank you for that contribution, of course. Okay, so do we have any public comment on this item, Madam Clerk?
Do not have any public comment.
So the only specific staff recommendation, you've heard some feedback from the commissioners. The specific staff recommendation to adopt is the MSR, the communications provision, correct? And is there any other, so adopting a policy, you need board approval to adopt a policy as well. So it's really the first two on the recommendations. Is that correct? I'm looking to our council. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd very much like to make that motion to add a communication policy number 7.
A second.
Okay, will that suffice for the motion for this? Okay, please vote.
Your motion passes and the vote is unanimous.
And thank you for the presentation, Desiree and Christy. Appreciate it. All right, so let's move on to, I believe, item 13.
Item 13 is discussion on some of the LAFCo meeting dates and whether the commission wants to explore and/or schedule alternative meeting dates.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, we have a LAFCO schedule of meetings for the remainder of 2024. Generally speaking, for the audience, it is the first Wednesday of the month when it is scheduled. Typically, you are dark in July. Now, for the current calendar year, we do have a couple of conflicts in which the chambers are not going to be available on the first Wednesday, and that would be on June 5th and on September 4th. Staff was going to wait until we get closer to the date to determine whether to basically the previous meeting to recommend either canceling the meeting or trying to find alternative locations. The clerk of the board has a better idea, which is they know that the chambers are available on June 12th and September 11th. And so their recommendation would be to reschedule those dates, those June and September dates, to those other dates. But obviously that's subject to your calendar and whether or not you're available to meet. At the moment, I can't give you any, my crystal ball is just too cloudy. I can't tell you what June or September is going to look like. At the moment, if it's available with your schedules, I don't see a problem of scheduling those alternative dates. And as we get closer to May, I can recommend whether we still hold the meeting or just outright cancel it. So that would be my recommendation with, again, with the help of the clerk, to be able to at least have a meeting space already set up, and we would have a set date.
I don't see any commissioners queued up, but I can tell you June 12th, I mean, we have a tentative Board of Supervisors on my calendar. I don't know if is that on your calendar as well. Supervisor Frost here.
I didn't see it. What do you have?
It says it's one of those dates, kind of a placeholder date.
Yeah, but
that they'll put in there once in a while.
Yeah, this is at night though, right?
Yeah, but that'd be an afternoon meeting. So, but I think you're probably okay setting those meeting dates tentatively. I think that's fine. As we get closer, if we need to adapt, we'll adapt.
Yeah, I think so too.
Having the evening meeting does make it a little easier. So,
I will reach out to you ahead of time as well.
Right. Okay. Any other comments from commissioners? Any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Okay.
Council, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just wondering whether or not we were going to formally set the alternative dates as regular meeting dates or play it by ear. Whether, changing the regular dates from June 4th through to June 12th by motion or play it by ear at the commission's discretion.
Just to make life easier for the clerk for scheduling purposes, It might be better to set the June meeting to the 12th and the September meeting to the 11th. So that way we know that this space can be reserved.
So then the motion would be to formally change the June and September meetings to the second Wednesday rather than the first Wednesday for this calendar year.
Mm-hmm. So moved on that motion stated by our county council.
And second.
Okay. Please vote.
Your motion passes and the vote is unanimous.
Okay, thank you. That'll take us to item 14.
Item 14 is consider and approve a contract for backup legal services with the law office of Daniel P. DePorto.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, long story short, as you know, LAFCo has been sued by the Sierra Club, the local chapter of the Sierra Club, regarding the preparation of an environmental review for a proposed project. Unfortunately, our regular counsel has a conflict given that their firm also represents the National Sierra Club. And so as a result, she was able to find someone who was highly recommended, and that's Mr. DePorto, to provide backup legal services. I've already had a couple of discussions with him. I've tentatively approved the contract under my own spending authority in order for him to help us with the drafting of the response to the lawsuit. But we're going to run into my limit pretty soon. So if you approve it, then it's funding will come out of the budget, and to basically retain Mr. DePorto to assist us with this lawsuit until its completion. So a response has been submitted. We're waiting for the court to decide. But in the meantime, I recommend that we enter into this contract with Mr. DePorto with your blessing, so that we have him as we need him.
Okay, thank you, Jose. Vice Chair Kaplan.
Thank you. Just want to get a little bit of clarification, be very clear and transparent. So I am the District 1 councilwoman that represents the area of which this lawsuit oversees. I also happen to be a practicing attorney. So I'm curious, am I in any conflict? I have nothing to do with this, and I don't practice in Sacramento with none of my clients, but I need to make very clear that I have the authority to vote on anything related to this as a LAFCo member, since it is specifically my district.
You do, and in addition, the city of Sacramento is sued in the lawsuit and is a co-defendant in the lawsuit. And there's a specific statutory provision in Cortese Knox that states you serve on this commission due to your representation of your special district and your city council, and that doesn't create a conflict. So beyond the regular public agency laws that allows you to serve on joint powers boards, et cetera, and not have a conflict, there is a specific one in addition that applies to LAFCo. So thank you, but as your role as an elected official, you wear many hats, and your job is to carry them out in your various boards.
I just wanted to state for the record to make it very clear, so that there was no questions about me being on this board, which is also going to be deciding this, as well as it is my neighborhood. I just happen to be your new person that jumps in on this issue, so that if there is any request of information, public record, that this has been clearly stated, and on advice of counsel, I don't have any conflict.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair Kaplan. Any other comments or questions from commissioners? Seeing none, any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Okay. So the staff recommendation is to approve the contract with the Office of Daniel DePorto as backup legal counsel. Chair will move approval. It was second by Commissioner Little. Please vote.
The motion passes and the vote is unanimous.
Okay, item 15.
Item 15 is considered supporting the LAFCo legislative effort to secure LAFCo's ability to seek indemnification.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, there was a lawsuit from San Luis Obispo County a few years back that kind of upended indemnification in the LAFCo world. And Council and I have been going back and forth about the meaning and the policy impact. While we have been, I believe, in pretty secure legal ground, having the legislature bless the ability of LAFCOs to get indemnification is always a good thing. And this is something that a lot of LAFCOs, my executive officers, myself included, have been trying to get the ball rolling. It's a matter of being able to work with our partner agencies and partner associations to also back up the effort. We've been able to secure, the LAFCO community, not us. The CalLAFCO and the LAFCO community have been able to secure the support of the other member associations like CSAC and the League of Cities and the California Special District Association to also start backing the idea of indemnification. At the time that I wrote the staff memo, we did not have a bill. Now we do. It's also, we have an author who's introduced the bill. And so because the legislative effort seems to be just move under its own calendar, which may or may not synchronize with LAFCo's meeting calendar, the request is twofold. Number one, to support the effort in general, and also to authorize me as the executive officer to submit letters of support at each committee so that your support of this effort is recorded at each and every step of the legislative process. We would start now with having had a bill that's now been introduced. And in that case, I would be basically speaking on your behalf, and the letter would be written that, on your behalf, we're submitting this letter of support and urging the various committees to approve the bill. And so that's what this item is about. It's kind of odd because typically we at staff seek your support for particular bills at specific junctions. On this one, it's going to be continuous just because it's a very important bill in the LAFCo community. And this is also what CalLAFCo is requesting.
So I have a question. So first of all, I saw the Ledge Council language in the staff report. What's the bill number and who's the author?
Oh, gosh. I don't know off the top of my head. Give me a second.
And while you're looking for that, I mean, just my first thought is it's one thing to, I think, provide approval to take a position, but I'm a little leery because obviously specific bills can become something much different.
Different, yes, and of course in that specific case, once the bill changes, then we'll bring it back, and we would be looking at substantive changes like and the bill number is Senate Bill 1209.
1209.
Yes, 1209.
Who's the author?
The author is Cortese.
Oh.
Which may or may not be related to the Cortesian Oxford. I believe they're related.
And is it the exact language, this same Ledge Council language that's in the staff report?
The one that's in your bill,
Okay.
yeah. So it hasn't been amended yet. If there's substantive changes to the language, we will bring it back.
Okay.
And just on that, in the planning and zoning law, which cities and counties implement when they approve land use matters, there's a specific language similar to the language being proposed that authorizes cities and counties to condition approvals of land use matters with indemnification. So the proposal for LAFCO is that identical, I'll say identical, but things change, language to also apply to LAFCO. Bad facts make bad law. And in my opinion, the San Luis Obispo case was a bad factual case to require the applicant to indemnify. They required the person suing LAFCO to pay the lawsuit for the defense of the lawsuit when they were the plaintiff. So bad facts made bad law for a case to say LAFCOs can't require indemnification. So I would distinguish that case from most of our applications. But in the meantime, that's the purpose of the legislation.
Okay. Thank you. And no commissioners queued up. Any public comment on
No
this item?
public comment.
Okay. Then I'll bring it back to the commission for a motion to approve our executive director's recommendation.
Mr. Chair, I move staff recommendation to follow this indemnity situation.
I'll second it.
Okay. First by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Walton. Please vote.
Your motion passes with a unanimous vote.
Okay. Item 16.
Item 16 is questions and announcements from Executive Officer and Commission Council.
Mr. Chair, I do have a couple of announcements. I don't know if Council had some. First thing I wanted to do was apologize for the packet. We had some technical glitches. Your clerk and I have had discussions. We believe we found a way of being able to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But I do apologize. Obviously, the packet went out late, and then several of you were not able to retrieve it, but you were able to retrieve it from the website. So that's great. Second thing is you will note that there's a flash drive right by your computer. Those are your commissioner resources. We have in there essentially the LAFCo roster. We have the current copies of the policies and procedures. policy standards and procedures. There's a copy of the Cortesian-Churchburg in there, and various other materials that we think would be helpful, just kind of a background information. I don't have an MSR for you yet, because it turns out that it exceeded the size of the flash drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mail you a link where you can retrieve the MSRs, so that you have it available to you. You may want to just light reading material, especially if you're suffering from insomnia. Review your policies, standards, and procedures, because we will be bringing up some non-substantive updates at the next meeting, really just to kind of refresh the PSPs. And then lastly, what I wanted to bring up was that I wanted to, just with your indulgence, I wanted to congratulate my former deputy in El Dorado LAFCo, Erica Sanchez. She will become the new assistant executive officer for Placer LAFCO. And that's congratulations to Michelle. She's getting a great staff member joining her up in Placer. So just wanted to send that out.
Okay, thank you, Jose. Look to our council. Any comments? I have no comments. Okay, then that will bring us to item 17. Commissioner comments. Any comments from commissioners? Seeing none. I actually have a comment. Jose and I had a conversation the other day about all of our collective difficulty in attracting more housing, market rate housing, affordable housing. And one of the biggest difficulties in Sacramento County, kind of along with the MSR ad hoc committee we talked about in that context, is all the special districts and how difficult it is to navigate the climate here in Sacramento County. There have been some fits and starts, I think, at both SACOG, at the Sac Sewer District, and other special districts around getting everybody together to talk about impact fees, and identifying an entity, a body that maybe could spearhead an effort of pulling everybody together and, okay, what are we doing collectively? What are we doing individually to try to come up with creative ideas to lower these impact fees, to try to attract more housing or lower the cost of bringing more housing into Sacramento County? So that's something I just want to put on the radar. Jose, I'd like to I'd like you to consider that, because I wonder if LAFCo could take a leadership role in that. I mean, it seems to make sense in a lot of ways, and no one else really seems to want to do it. So I just wanted to bring that up publicly. That's something that's very important to me, and I think to all of us in our respective roles. So just wanted to throw that out there, and I'll continue having a conversation with you, and perhaps bring it to the commission for further discussion if it's appropriate at some point. So. Okay, and with that, I believe there are some refreshments back there for commissioners to take before you go home. And seeing no further, we are adjourning to closed session. That's right.
I don't believe we're holding closed session. Is that right? Or
yeah, I mean, unless the commissioner, the memo that was provided by Mr. DePorto was pretty clear. If you wanted to have closed session, we can. At the moment, I'm recommending not to, because
Great.
The memo kind of covered everything.
Thank you, and thank you for being there. Okay, well, with that, we are adjourned.
And yes, please take refreshments.
Thank you. Thank you all.